Hey everybody, it's John from the RIDGID Schoolhouse. In this video, we're going to go over the proper technique and method to change the dies on your manual ratchet die heads. Just as an example, we have all three different styles that we have. We have the 00R style, the 11R style, and the 12R style. The procedure for changing the dies on all of these is the same. So we're just going to go ahead and show you on the largest of the 12R die heads. The first thing we're going to do is remove the 4 screws from the top of the cover plate. All right. Once we have those 4 screws out, now we're going to lift that cover plate out of there. You should never have to pry that cover plate off. If you do, something is bent or deformed or damaged, possibly on the cover plate and or the casting of the die head itself. So what we're going to do now is we're going to remove the dies, and the dies should be able to float freely back and forth and not be hung up. If it does get hung up because there is a burr on the end, if you take a flat file and just lightly, ever so lightly file that just to take the burr off so that those dies slide freely. Next thing we're going to do, if your die head has been used in the field, it's going to look a lot dirtier than this. And you're going to have chips and debris and everything else potentially in those slots. So you want to take a rag or a towel and just make sure to get any of those chips or debris out of there so that the dies can sit freely. Sit freely and move freely. When it comes time to put the dies in, what you're going to do is match the number of the die to the number that is stamped on the post. So we'll start with the post for the number 1 die. That number 1 die drops right in. You're going to want it close to the outside, flush to the casting on the die head itself. Then number 2, we'll go with our number 3. Reach around here and grab that number 4. So now you have all of the numbers matched, the 1 to 1, 2 to 2, 3 to 3, and 4 to 4. Now it's time to put the cover plate on. And you'll see that notch on the cover plate. That notch on the cover plate is actually going to go into the groove that's on the top of the dies. This cover plate, there is no right or wrong way to put it on. All 4 of the hole patterns match up on it. So you want to make sure that your dies are pushed all the way back out to start out with. Then we're going to put our screws back in. Then we're going to run the screws down till they just about touch. You still want the die to be able to move in and out. And that goes for all 4 of the screws. I usually just run it down until it touches and then crack it back a little bit. Okay, so we make sure they're pushed all the way back. Now we're going to take the threaded nipple. We are going to thread that up from underneath the bottom of the die head. I'm going to thread that all the way up until the end of that pipe gets to the last tooth of the die. Now you can actually go ahead and cinch down those screws on it, and this way, because that factory produced nipple has been checked with the ring gauge at the factory, you know that's a good quality thread. So now you're reproducing the shape of that thread by setting the dies this way. Once that's done, now you can actually unscrew that threaded nipple, and your dies are set and ready to go.